I think this whole epidemic of people wanting to validate themselves via being accepted by a friend group or getting attention from a potential romantic partner is the funniest thing, because do you not realize that you gave them that importance? Do you not realize that the pedestal that you put them on above you, you created that? So that means you have the power to give yourself that pedestal. Imagine how you would feel if all of your dreams came true. Just imagine that person that you could be. You have the full power of becoming that person. But you're putting a pause on that and saying, wait, I want something outside of me that I gave this importance to give me permission to feel that way. It doesn't make sense, does it? No, because external validation doesn't work in this society that we are in right now. It is from our literal caveman selves years ago, where not being accepted meant that we were going to die. But my friends, you are no longer a hunter-gatherer, okay? You no longer need to be accepted by the group. You are able to make your own power now. And it's time that you start acting like it and stop putting everybody else except you on that pedestal. Basing your self-esteem and your self-confidence on what other people say to you or how other people treat you is literally the most fickle thing on this planet. Because how they act and what they say is a reflection of them. They were always going to say that, and they were always going to act that way, because people act based on patterns. If someone ghosted you, they've ghosted other people in the past. If someone bullied you, they've bullied other people in the past. It has nothing to do with you. And so you know that loop that you get in, that everyone has, by the way, of wanting approval from someone else or thinking what you could have done differently in order to have a different outcome. That's not real. We are searching for approval and acceptance in places that aren't for us. Because the things that are for you, the things that you're aligned with energetically, will come into your life like that. And so, if you want to attract your dream friend group or attract your dream dating experiences, all of the work needs to be done in here, not out here. It has nothing to do with the other person, and it has everything to do with how you are perceiving yourself. Because people can sense when you put them on the pedestal above you, and people don't like desperation. Let's talk a psychology, very Carl Jung point of view of this thing. So we all have these complexes and these associations, right? Think of Lamborghini, think of Louboutin, you'll probably think of wealth, status, something that's expensive. But you can also be someone that sees that and is like, oh yeah, that's expensive, but not assign any importance to it. Like, oh yeah, I don't really care that much about cars. I don't really care that much about high heels. Like, why does it matter to me? It's not important. I'm not going to be spending time and spending my own precious mental energy obsessing over that thing, right? Now with people, you get to choose your associations. Say there is a desired romantic partner, right? You can associate them with desirability, with power, with status, right? And so now you have taken all of that from yourself and projected it onto this thing. It doesn't actually exist in this person. It may or may not, who knows? But you are the decider of whether or not it is. Someone can see that exact same person and not see anything. They're like, okay, what does that have to do with me? And assign zero importance, while you are over here being desperate and putting them up on this pedestal that doesn't exist. Every single thing is a projection, and your mind is powerful. It is constantly creating these projections and these associations. So do you see how it's actually so silly to take all of that from yourself and take all of that power and project it onto this thing that you can't control? And what's even more silly is thinking that you need that thing to approve of you in order to feel a certain way, or in order to give yourself permission to be a certain person. And again, people can sense that. And there are bad people in the world that are narcissistic and that have issues with security. So they will do anything in their power to make you feel as badly as they do on a day-to-day basis. So if you are basing your self-worth off of compliments and off of how people react to you, imagine how you'd feel as soon as that gets taken away. This is why external validation and basing how you feel about yourself on other people is literally always doomed to fail. You have literally handed away your power and projected it onto something that can never truly validate you. I'm all about healing on this channel, so we're not gonna get into a pit of why am I like this. We're going to actually get to the root problem so you can level up and become lethal. Every single person struggles with this issue, but the lethal ones, the ones that are taking their destiny and their self-confidence into their own hands, are the ones that don't feed it and don't let it control them and their behavior. So you've stumbled here. It is time for us to revisit the core. You need to go back to your childhood and revisit the moments that made you feel unworthy. What was your mindset like in elementary school, in middle school, during childhood? Did you feel like you needed to prove yourself? Did you feel like you couldn't effortlessly attract your school crush? Did you feel like you were on the outside and that you constantly needed to put other people above you in order to feel accepted? That is so freaking normal. Don't you realize every single person has felt that way? At some point or another, every single person has felt that way. But now you, as an older person, need to go back to that younger version of yourself and tell them that they don't have to live like that anymore. You're allowed to tell them, hey, we can make our own power now. We can create our own pedestal. And we don't need to be relying on other people to validate us, because we are here to validate ourselves. The way that I do this, that has literally changed my life in ways I can't even describe. You need to picture your younger self. If you have a picture, that's so much better. Picture the clothes, the hairstyle, the face, and talk to them. Talk out loud, because you've evolved. You understand your power. The one that's still struggling with validation isn't you. It's your younger self that needs to be reparented and recoached into new ways of living. And what's most important is not right now when you're not triggered. It's in the moments when you are. It's in the moments when you catch yourself feeling like you're grasping at someone's attention. It's in the moments when you feel like you're having FOMO or that you want to be validated. Because whenever that feeling arises, it's not you. You need to disconnect from it. It's your younger child that is needing you to reparent them into new ways of thinking. You have the power to claim your energy back and start to give yourself that power, but you can't do that if you're not letting your inner child feel heard and feel special. Beyond shadow work and beyond inner child healing, which is the core of all of this, you need to cut out people that make you feel unworthy. I have said this so many times on this channel, and I will continue saying it. The way you feel about yourself is reflected in the relationships you have in your life. Right now, I have literally my dream relationship and the most amazing friends I could ever ask for. I feel so heard, so special, so acknowledged. I always feel inspired and a sense of belonging and like warmth. I'm never triggered. We have conflict, but we work through it. It's never coming from a dark, anxious place. But my friends, when I used to have really low self-esteem and always would rely on external validation, I attracted narcissists. I attracted people with very low confidence that felt like they needed to bring me down. And because I was coming from that place of always needing external validation, people could sense that. You can choose almost 8 billion people to surround yourself with. So why are you choosing the ones that are reinforcing an outdated version of yourself? We literally just talked about how you aren't the one that's wounded here. It's your younger self that was told that they weren't worthy. And you have the power to work through that, but you can't do that if you're surrounding yourself with people who don't believe that version of you. You need to be friends with people who are confident, with people who see your value and will help see your value because they do that for themselves. I'm not going to go into much detail with that here because I have a whole video on how to break up with friends, so go watch that. Seeking external validation is such a dark and anxious loop, and the only way to combat that is allowing yourself to have more joy in your life. That is why, if you are someone that seeks external validation, you need to get back to your hobbies. You need to get back to what you loved doing as a child because you were operating on a lower vibrational level, and people can sense that. You can sense that. You can feel it. So in order to bring yourself up higher, you need to start doing things that light you up inside. What did you used to do before you started paying attention to what everyone else was doing? Playing in nature, painting, dancing, singing. You need to give yourself permission to do these things without fear of judgment and without fear of FOMO. Every time FOMO or judgment arises, you need to go back to that wound. You need to go back to that self and tell them and coach them that you have the power. Nothing else outside of you has the power. That was the coping mechanism that they used years ago, and you're able to undo it. You're able to become someone who is confident and has all of that power and is able to validate themselves. And the last thing, it's all in the repetition. As I've been saying, the most important time to go back to your inner child and the reparenting is when you're triggered. The most important time. As soon as you find yourself starting to get into the loop, you need to pause and be like, wait, this isn't me. This is me from years ago. So I need to go back to me from years ago in order to heal that wound. And so just like how you've made the habit of putting other people on pedestals, just like how that is a neurological pathway in your mind, this will become a new neurological pathway in your mind. You are literally hardwiring yourself to think a different way. And guys, as someone on the other side, it is so worth. Trust me, it is so uncomfortable to have to literally consciously rewire your brain and rewire the way that you think. But on the other side, it's amazing. So it is completely within your own power, no one else's, no one outside of you, to rewire the way that you think about yourself. And thank you so much for watching and for stopping by. My name's Emma, and if you like the vibes, subscribe to the channel, comment below what you liked or what you didn't like, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.